This is a Harper Guys production.
The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen. If I was informed correctly, the clock is ticking. Is that right, Jimmy?
You know, but good luck arguing that in court. Let me get down to brass tacks.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Jack, let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
Are you hating on Neil Diamond?
Holy fuck, fuck Neil Diamond.
Our dream of deathmatch is going to come to fruition, and my golden ticket is going to pay off. Hoo-ah. Don't you fucking hoo-ah me, motherfucker.
I want the ability to time travel.
This is stupid. Welcome to the Hopper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jake. With me is always my sidekick, Adam.
That's right.
Coming at you tonight. We know that most of you guys know how to follow, share, subscribe, things like that, but we're going to remind you anyway.
That's right. Because it's what we fucking do.
Boom.
Episode 82. Turn these headphones up just a little bit there. Episode 82. Visit us at theharperguys.com. There you can follow and share, like Jake just said. You can also visit us everywhere podcasts are found. Go to our YouTube channel right now and subscribe. God damn it. The 50th subscriber gets a free red brass tacks t-shirt. Almost said that without spitting all over my shelf. My shelf, unique in New York. Check out our Patreon website and find our missing episodes. Did you know we had missing episodes?
And we got some gems in there, to say the least.
Now, we know you can get enough free podcasts if you want.
Yeah.
But if you want to help out your creators a little bit here.
That's right.
And get some great content as well, go subscribe.
Right.
Sign up.
Plus, you also get 2 shows for the price of 1, unlike many other shows that you can be a Patreon for, because we have our sister show, The Gallows, which is a true crime podcast, all about eviction. Convictions that lead to executions. Try to say that 4 times real fast.
Convictions.
Right? So, again, great show if you're into that vein, as well as a little bit of common sense. We got the Patreon for you.
And just for the record, we have the #1 common sense podcast in Northeast Ohio and the #1 true crime podcast in Northeastern Ohio.
It's true.
Search it. We are #1.
Rocking the Casbah.
That's it.
Here we go.
We're done.
Done with the PSA.
Thanks for coming out. We love you. Pip, pip, cheerio.
Right. Roll the closing.
Oh, by the way, that is patreon.com, patreon.com/Harper Guys Production.
Boom.
Check it out.
It's going to be awesome. What are we starting off with tonight, man?
You know when somebody says, like, man, I'm a hometown guy. And you know, sometimes you're like, yeah, he is, or what the fuck, this guy ain't.
Like, because you live in your hometown and, like, you never left, and, like, that's just, you're always going to be a hometown guy? Or
no, like I back my hometown. Like, you know, I might have moved away, but I'm still, like, a Smithville guy. Or I'm still a Wadsworth guy. You know, I like Wadsworth. It's where I grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel there's definitely a connection when I go back.
Right.
Like matter of fact, today as I was driving here, I went up the brick road.
Sure.
Past my old house. Then I took the back ways to get to Far, back by Donor and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, I know right where I'm at.
That's awesome.
And so what I'm saying is, there's people in the public.
Yeah.
That claim to be, I'm a hometown kind of guy, you know, like Paul motherfucking Dolan.
Is he a hometown guy?
Yes.
He's a Cleveland boy.
Cleveland boy. Claims to be.
Okay. What exactly does Paul Dolan do?
Well, maybe it's not just Paul Dolan. It's a Dolan family type of thing. But Paul Dolan
Let me rephrase.
Yes, what is he?
Who is he? What does he do?
You want me to tell the people what's going on? Paul Dolan is the owner of the Cleveland Indians, probably to be renamed Cleveland Indians. Maybe not. We will find out.
Right.
I think they won't be since the Braves and Blackhawks didn't budge. Anyways, that being said, I find it difficult to root for Paul Dolan.
Okay.
In the years of ownership. Blew my motherfucking mind.
That?
Been the owner for 20 fucking years now.
Okay.
The Dolan family. I shouldn't put it all on Paul.
So he bought them right after the glory days of the 90s.
Yes, I believe that was Larry was the father.
Oh, was it? He was the original Dolan owner?
He is and then he put it, so when you look online, it says Dolan family, and Pauly is who's in charge right now. Because
Pauly's in charge?
Because Larry, unless Larry's the brother, I can't remember who the father was of Pauly. I'm thinking it was Larry. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. Bottom line is the Dolans have really sucked since owning it.
Yeah.
I could give you year in and year out of why, but I'm going to focus on right now.
Okay.
Right now we're just going to start here. Right now they have one of the gems at shortstop. Would you disagree? Agree?
He's one of the best players in all of baseball, sure. Frankie Lindor.
For a guy that's probably about my height, about 5'10", 11.
I bet he's right at 6 foot.
I doubt it.
He's a little bigger than you think, man. Like, you actually watch him, he's not a tiny shortstop out there. That guy's a man.
Look it up.
He's a grown man playing shortstop.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to look up his height. But anyways, I'm going to bet he's 5'10", 5'11".
I'm going to say 6'1".
No. 5'10", maybe 5'11". I'll give you 5'11".
You've been looking at Joe Daly too much.
No, Joe Daly's short. But my point is, he's not a big guy, but he hits home runs. Quite a bit of them, actually.
Got that sweet swing.
He does have a sweet swing. He's an amazing defensive player.
5'11".
Boom! All right, so
you got this guy. What's the problem with him?
the problem with Paul Dolan, and these are current events. So I don't know how much is handed down from the front office. I like owner, general manager, coach. Pardon me. I don't know how much is handed down as far as like our recent COVID suspensions with Mike Clevenger and Zach Plesac.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think that's just coach and GM or director of player management? What do you think? Or do you think that comes from the top?
I think it comes from lower down. I think that it's I don't know what was actually said behind closed doors, but I know that Cleveland has a manager in Terry Francona, who you love.
I do.
That is a very no-nonsense kind of guy. He doesn't like excuses on anything, and if you give him excuse instead of apologizing, I don't think that he takes very kindly to that, to where that's where I feel like that's how he's handled a few things, is based on, you're not going to respect me, you ain't going to play here. And his team knows and loves him because he's a strong leader. So it's a 50-50 proposition, but I don't believe he's so strong that they don't want to lose him, that I honestly think that even if that was coming down from the top, if he really championed this guy, it was like, no, this guy is a linchpin, he's going to help us win a championship, then they don't get rid of him.
Okay. Knowing that even more makes me like Terry Francona, because the one thing I found in my adulthood, being at my job, and we all make mistakes.
Sure.
Owning those is a difficult thing, but I think it makes you more respectable.
Yeah.
If I fuck something up at work and I go in and say, listen, I fucked it up, but you know what? It's not going to happen again.
Sure.
I think they're going to be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out and we'll move on.
Mistake's not a 4-letter word, so.
Right.
So what else is so Dolan is you didn't finish where you're at. So is he not signing Frankie? Is he leaving Frankie out in the cold? Like I'm
getting to that.
Start with that to start.
Well, Frankie Frankie is he kind of got fucked around when he came up. They manipulate these players when they're young, and sometimes if they bring them up at certain times, they save money on them.
If they bring them up at certain times and then send them back down before they've played a certain number of games, then it will not count as a year of Major League Baseball service. So they actually have them under contract for an extra season before they can go to arbitration and then ultimately to free agent and get that $30 million a year contract.
Right. So Frankie being right out of the gates, almost an upper echelon player. Well, no, I shouldn't say almost. He was. Kind of like LeBron coming into the league.
Sure.
He was an upper echelon player. Matter of fact, the damn kid in his first full year of MLB, 2016, I thought he was going to pull the Jeter miracle off. His first full year in MLB baseball, he's going to win a title. Should have happened. But anyways.
He was close.
They offered him, after that, the dust settled, a couple years later, they offered him $100 million. He declined it because he knew in a couple more years, and this dude right now, Frankie Lindor, is making like bare bones minimum.
Like 5, isn't it?
500,000.
No, it's more than that.
It's not much.
It's several million at this point.
I thought I heard it wasn't. I thought it was like bad, like not even $1 million.
Well, that's about to change.
But he's got endorsements. Frankie's doing okay. He's not doing great, but he's doing okay. Toyota Kias or whatever he's doing.
Sure.
But then, knowing what's going to happen, they interviewed Paul Dolan, and Paul Dolan says, well, I will never pay a player $300 million until it is the average, the league average. So, I guess we're going to let another one go. Jake?
Well, unless he's willing to sign for under $300 million. Yeah.
Now, I know from what Frankie Lindor has said in public, now a lot of other players have said this as well, I really love Cleveland. This is the team that brought me up through the minors. They wanted me. I love this place. But we've heard that before, and they've gone elsewhere. And, of course, they go for the money. Most of us would.
Sure.
I'm not going to say that they wouldn't, but the problem I get into is with the players is don't fucking come out and say that if you don't fucking mean it.
I don't disagree with that.
I'd rather see a Manny Ramirez say, listen, I liked playing in Cleveland, but I'm going to go where the money is. You know, I would respect you. It's kind of like going into your boss's office and saying, I fucked that shit up, but it's not going to happen again.
Right.
I just respect you more. Like Jim told me, that's where we hated the guy for a while because he said, Cleveland, Cleveland all the way. And then he fucking left.
For the same money.
Then you're like, wait a minute, dude. Chasing a championship doesn't always work, Jimmy.
Yeah, he didn't get one.
Didn't.
He'll be an HOFer.
Probably. He should be.
But without a ring.
Without a ring. So, getting back to Paul Dolan. So, he's
not signing Frankie Lindor.
He's trying to be public enemy number one now. He's not going to sign Frankie Lindor.
Okay.
Or will he?
I don't know. There's still some time to get it figured out. I wouldn't put it past him at this point. Depending on how the playoffs go the next couple of years.
Yeah.
This guy brings home a championship. He's real, real hard to let go.
Yeah. But will they keep the guys? Now, for those that don't know, the Indians, for the luck of it all, we've had a really amazing pitching rotation for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm. Even with some new faces in and out, it just kind
like
of keeps
they keep bringing them in. Right now, there's a young kid, McKenzie.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Something McKenzie.
Yeah.
I want to say like Trevor, but I'm not sure exactly his first name.
Sure.
Kid is looks like a stiff wind would blow him over, but looks like a phenom.
Right.
Could be one of the reasons why they let Mike Clevenger go. So, anyways, let's get back to this whole who's running the front office and with the player personnel. Okay. So, Mike Clevenger. Well, first it's reported that Zach Plesac, who is a young stud pitcher, he's like the fourth or fifth at this point in the rotation out of five. He goes to a party. They find out, and this is breaking their team COVID-19 rules.
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of teams have these in place. So they quickly suspend him. The team does send him down, out for assignment. Not out for assignment. That would be mean he was gone.
Yeah, that's
but then they quickly find out that Mike Clevenger, who is the third in the rotation, maybe even second, you could argue. Cookie Carrasco's come up. Oh no, yeah, because I had flashes of what's his face, Kluber. Yeah. So Clevenger, he kind of had a health issues last year. Still a really good fucking pitcher. At the trading deadline, he came back for one start. One or two starts, I think just one.
Okay. And
then they traded his ass. I speculated right off the gate that it was for the COVID reasons.
Yeah.
And I even wrote down that they dealt Mike Clevenger due to violating team COVID rule. That quite possibly could end up being an election strategy conspiracy. And or was it all just about the money, Pauly?
I mean, he's another guy who was ready to be paid here directly.
Yeah.
So
now he is about 28. We all know
you can pay a 28-year-old pitcher for 4 years
easily. But we all know that a lot of pitchers come into their own about 31. Like some of them come in way earlier.
Right, but there's a lot of guys that have really good success, and they're young to mid-30s.
Yes.
In baseball pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
this
a
guy,
craft.
this
It's
guy,
different than hitting.
Yeah, this guy is right there,
Right.
and he's already good.
Sure, amazing.
And so he's probably just going to get in fuego at this point.
He is now. He's home.
How's he been doing that? Or
Yeah.
how's he been doing?
On fire, man. 2-0.
So they shipped his ass off to San Diego. San Diego has been a afterthought for many, many years, but right now they're doing well.
They're one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, and
Top to bottom, too.
so they just sent 2 Indians over there, and a player to be named later.
But the other guy we didn't mind getting rid of.
Well, Greg Allen, there wasn't really a spot for him. I kind of feel bad. I hope they're playing him every day because the kid has tools. He's got talent.
Yeah.
He just needs to bat fucking more. Reminds me a lot of Brandon Phillips. They didn't have a spot for Brandon Phillips, and then they're finally like, let's just deal him to Cincinnati. Guess what? Brandon Phillips ends up being a 6-year-in-a-row All-Star.
I get it.
So-
We had Omar back then.
No, this was second base.
Was it second?
Yes.
Was that the Robbie Alomar years?
No, Robbie was only here for a few.
So it was post-Robbie.
Yeah, there was other guys there. I can't remember off the top
Oh,
of
that's
my
okay.
head.
Either way. So we got 2 guys now that have been traded because they're not. Sorry, one guy that's been traded and one
Yeah.
guy that looks like he's not going to get paid. So strike one against Dolan is he's not doling out the money.
Not Dolan out the money.
Right.
So let's back up 1 year. Now he made 2 big trades the year prior, or I'm saying him. I mean, I still think the front office guy controls some of this because there's money involved. I mean, I know. Listen, back in the former owner, we'll get into him in a minute. The former owner let Mike Hart, or not Mike Hart, who was the Hart guy?
John Hart.
John Hart, who was the GM. He pretty much said, "Here's your open checkbook. Do what the fuck you want."
Yeah. That's how the 1990s Indians got built.
And guess what? We'll get into that in a little bit here. So we know that. So it went from John Hart to Shapiro to John Antonetti, who is in there now. We know as soon as the Dolans took it over in 2000, there has not been an open checkbook. They're far from it.
No.
Been an open
They've
checkbook.
dumped money a couple times, unexpectedly.
Okay, they paid one guy $30 million once, and then another guy left, got paid $30 million. They got rid of the other guy, and it was Carlos Santana,
Brought him back.
and Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah.
Paid Edwin, kept him here for 2 years, a year and a half, shipped his ass out. We lost Carlos for a year. He got paid 30, and then they brought him back. Whatever. Bottom line is, there's no open checkbook.
None.
They're not paying what Richard Dick Jacobs was paying
Yeah.
these players at the time. Or I should say you might say they're getting paid that much, but corresponding decades, different paychecks.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say.
Sure.
So, year prior, he gets rid of Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer, 2 very controversial trades.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what we got. Well, I do know. For one of them, we got Franmil Reyes. That's worked out.
He's played well.
Even if that was a 1-for-1, I'd take that right now.
Yes.
It wasn't a 1-for-1. I'm sure we got more for it. Franmil was one of the key cogs. He is a huge bat in the lineup. I don't know if I told you. Did I tell you? I've compared him to David Ortiz already.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
who he looks like. He reminds me.
He
of
just
that guy.
he's built like David. He hits the ball like David. As he gets older, and I hope his career continues like David, he could definitely be a David Ortiz that came from San Diego and is hopefully making a lot of money in Cleveland.
Fingers crossed.
Fuck you, Paul Dolan. Pay the fucker. Anyways, getting back to it. So, Trevor Bauer, he blew up. I'm assuming this was more of a Terry Francona issue with Trevor Bauer.
I believe that.
He got a little bit of a hot head. He's not your prototypical ball player. He does some weird things. He has some weird exercises and all this other things. But you know what? If I'm an owner, a GM, or a coach, I'm looking at numbers. I mean, not every player is going to be the prototypical clubhouse guy.
Bauer's pretty good though.
My comparison to Bauer's situation is not even a good comparison, but Dennis Rodman back in the 90s was, I mean, I wouldn't say he was a horrible teammate, but he was on the court, you wanted him on your team.
He went to Vegas and got ripped in between NBA Finals games.
Mm-hmm. No,
That's a pretty shitty teammate. I mean, I know on the court
not
that
when
he
he
sells
comes
out. I'm just saying.
Not when he comes back. It's a bunch of gray area. Not when he comes back and he's freaking amazing.
Whatever. He's lucky they win that series. They lose that series that he did that in. You don't think people are blaming him to this
He never
day
plays
for it?
basketball again.
Right. So,
But
anyway, I digress.
okay, so Trevor Bauer's not even on that level.
No.
But he's outspoken
Oh yeah.
and he starts shit
He's
with.
the type of guy like he'll rub people the wrong way just being honest.
He'll get on social media. He'll start little feuds and stuff on Twitter and Facebook, whatever his platform is. He'll do that.
Yeah.
But in the end, does he put you in a chance? And all they want for a pitcher to go 6-7 innings and give your chance a opportunity to win. That's all they want.
Yeah.
In today's
So
world,
that's what their job is.
they want to don't give up any more than 1 or 2 runs. Keep us in the fucking game, and give us a chance to win. That's all a team wants anymore today.
That's all you can ask for.
And that's all he fucking ever did. This year, Trevor Bauer is ranked. Well, I go off our Yahoo Fantasy. He's ranked number 3 in all of baseball.
Doesn't shock me.
The other thing about Trevor Bauer is if you give him a chip, he is going to fucking perform. You give him a chip, you trade his ass. Now, I don't know how long that chip will last, but guaranteed, I knew going into this year he was going to be good.
Okay.
Does that fade? Does it stay strong? I don't know. The Corey Kluber trade, that ended up working out pretty well. The dude pitched, was it 1 game and got hurt, or second game this year?
Kluber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they
that
moved on from him at the right time.
that crystal ball may have been right. Now Kluber could heal up and still pitch a couple years. I don't know. It probably won't be at the level, but still, who knows? The year prior, he did break his arm on a fastball off the bat. Not his fault. But anyways, so I give Dolan 1 right there for the Kluber trade.
Okay.
But with the Mike Clevenger trade, we got 6 players were received from San Diego. We gave 3 away. And this is where I say, and the top prospect that we got from San Diego was a shortstop, Frankie Lindor's position. Number 7 prospect in the San Diego Padres system.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means number 7 overall, and it happens to be in the San Diego system.
No, it's in their system.
Okay, in their system.
But that's still big because top 10 prospects inside your own system, if you have a decent farm system, they're substantial because those are like hardcore future guys.
Right.
That these clubs, especially a club like them, are looking forward to cultivating and getting that guy to be a real part of their team in the future.
Right. But if you're Frankie Lindor and they're pulling in number 7 from, does it bother you?
No, not if I'm Frankie Lindor. I don't give a shit.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, as far as like staying on this team, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Or maybe shrewder things have happened. Cleveland saw an opportunity to get this guy that they see a lot of potential in. You develop him for a couple years, and then you ship his ass out for somebody else when you're trading to get another piece to win a championship.
I thought about that too, because I'm going to tell you what. I looked up this guy's statistics. Obviously, people grow. Obviously, people can get better.
They're not great.
But in 2018, his batting average was okay, but he had 30 errors. You can't have 30 errors and be in the field general.
But he's a kid, though, too. Isn't he like 21, 22? Like, this kid's young.
I'll give you 15 errors. I won't give you 30. That's a lot.
Do you remember Manny Ramirez in right field and the left and the debacle that was?
Okay.
How many errors? How many throws that hop before they get to the infield? But the dude hit 310 with 38 homers and 115 RBIs. So
this guy didn't have 400 numbers in his repertoire. But what I'm saying is,
you don't got to be a 5-tool player to go to the Hall of Fame.
You're comparing the worst needed out. Oh well,
no, right is the least needed. Yeah, dude, left is, yeah.
I mean, left gets
you need
peppered
left
more
because right-handers all pull the ball.
Yeah,
and you got to have that gun coming home to third.
No, you're closer to third.
I mean, the gun coming home to home.
Yeah.
And left, because you get the most. I mean, they statistically make the most throws home in baseball is left field.
Right.
So it's pretty important position on defense.
I think they all are. But yes.
I mean, right field is still. I mean, there's a song about it from when we were kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when you think of outfield, you think center field. That's the field general.
That's the gazelle.
Now. And then you would go right because that guy's usually got a cannon and he's throwing people out at home as well.
Yeah, but that guy's also usually on drugs and beats people. And I mean, statistically in the history of baseball, fielders are bad motherfuckers. But
I guess my point is you can't compare a left fielder with a shortstop. All right, shortstop has to be better. So anyways, the guy had 30 errors in 2018, 26 errors in 2019. Trending in the right way, but
hey.
I'm just saying.
Hey, man, I don't think it's that bad. So what else do you hate about Paul Dolan? Because this is where we started was
Yeah.
you hate Paul Dolan. So you just hate the way he's managing the team?
It's been 20 years.
Since what?
He owned them. The family has
You
owned
almost
them.
won the series, what, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Been there once.
And you've been competitive ever since.
No.
It's not like you dismantled it. You had 1 year, right? 1 year that they were like kind of shitty to bad when everybody was hurt.
No, dude.
They were good
forget.
last year. They were good this year.
As soon as he took him over, it was the end of the Jim Thome era. I think Jim Thome was around.
But
till
that whole team needed retooled after Jim Thome. The whole thing was old.
they went. Eric Wedge was the manager. They went with Victor Martinez. Remember all that? Those
I
guys?
do. Couldn't
who-
beat Boston.
Who was the guy that played the flute up there from center field?
Coco.
Coco Crisp. That team was okay. They went and they couldn't get to the World Series. They did well,
But Boston, what, 3 times?
at least twice.
Yeah.
So that was all the Dolan eras.
So I'm just saying, and the Dolans are going back to the playoffs this year. So if in 10 years they made 5 or 6 playoff appearances, that's halfway.
It's 20 years.
Oh, he's had them since. But even I'd have to go back and look. The early 2000s, they were really good.
It was a tail off.
All right, that's one of the things we're pulling. I'm pulling the numbers, the playoff appearances in the Dolan era.
My point is this. I'm going to just get down to the nuts and fucking bolts of it. Here
Let's
we
get
go.
down to the.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen.
I knew it was happening.
All right. The thing I have a problem with is if eventually you have to pay one or two players. You
Okay.
have to if you want to compete in the fucking goddamn. If you're going to sit here and say you're a Cleveland guy and you care about this team, then you're going to have to pay a couple players. Richard E. Jacobs owned the team for 14 years, 1986 to 2000.
Yeah.
Guess where he was born?
Where he was born?
Yep.
Northeast Ohio.
Akron, fucking Ohio.
Okay.
Open fucking checkbook. That guy never even said, I'm a Cleveland guy. I'm an Ohio guy.
But none
Never
of
said it once.
None of those Akron guys do.
You know what? But he fucking opened the checkbook, made a winner for his hometown team, MLB team. That's as close as you can get.
I get it. I'm not here to hate on John Jenkins.
Then you got this Paul Dolan guy that claims he's an I'm Ohio. I know he's a philanthropist. He gives, but I don't save that fucking money and pay your fucking players, motherfucker. So, anyways, it sounds like Frankie Lindor is on the way out. Where is it? Where's the linchpin at? Where's it at here?
I don't know.
Why does Paul Dolan want to be hated as much as Art Modell or more?
Okay. Never.
If he gets
Ever? No,
if
it doesn't matter.
If he doesn't keep Frankie Lindor, people are going to fucking hate him.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Strongly disagree with
No.
that. I'm going to tell you what.
Wrong.
Not signing a popular player is not. It ain't even in the same It ain't in the same fucking galaxy as moving the team out of town. And let's not be facetious here. We all love the Cavs for winning the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Our hearts break with the Indians every time they come close and lose, and we're hoping, hey, maybe this is the strike shortened year. This is a Browns town.
Yeah.
And you took the Browns from Cleveland.
Yeah.
You couldn't become more hated in Cleveland if you burnt down Cleveland, because you could still rebuild the city and have the Browns if you build it down. So
Sure.
this guy doesn't even approach. That's like
But
a petty theft compared with a murder.
Why does he want to even be in the same
But he doesn't.
conversation?
He thinks he's smarter than you and me and everybody else, which on some level he obviously has some brains. So
Does he? Because I heard from a person that you and I work with, which who knows where he gets his information. I think you may have even been in the room when this was said. He said the Indians are in trouble. They have lost. They're losing money.
They are.
And I think we said this. We talked about, you were in the room, and we talked about how all of Major League owners are probably going to be in the fucking shit pan if they don't fucking start getting fans in the stands.
agreed.
But this guy seemed to think that the Indians are in a world of hurt because financially,
They are.
not just because of COVID-19, for other reasons.
Sure.
I don't know what those are. Gives me another reason to fucking hate Paul Dolan.
Maybe he'll sell them.
Holy fuck. I'd be so happy.
Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe he's going to cut bait
20
and get
years
out.
is a long time for an owner.
No, it isn't.
You don't think so?
The Chicago Bears are still owned by the original owner's granddaughter. She's 96 and still owns the Chicago Bears.
Well, I'm sure that's rare.
No, it's not. I mean, I guess different sports it might be rare, but The Buss family, they've had the Lakers for literally forever.
Okay.
I mean, the Rooneys in Pittsburgh. I mean, we could go on
good.
with this
Well,
list for
I'm
a
glad.
long time.
I'm glad, but the Dolans have a mystique in sports ownership. They own the Knicks, and from what I understand, they don't fucking pay anybody over there either.
They've dropped so much money on the Knicks. The guys just never pan out.
Well, maybe that's why they don't
Amari
pay anybody.
Stoudemire, Carmelo Anthony. I mean, you could sit down and make a list of guys that they've shelled out tons of money to and never made anything back. I feel like their passion has probably actually been more basketball.
Maybe.
Because they've dumped tons of money into getting people into New
Well,
York.
that's a different brother. Maybe he's a little bit smarter.
Maybe.
Or
I don't
dumber.
know.
My point is this, Paul Dolan. Look into the camera. Look into my eyes. Dick Jacobs had the formula. You build it, they'll fucking come.
I get it.
And they fucking did.
But do you think he's worse than Gund?
At least Gund. Oh, Gund. I was thinking Gilbert.
No, Gund.
I don't really have an opinion on Gund.
Former owner of the Cavs. You realize that he was so shady in his business dealings that they actually had to create a rule about trading first-round draft picks in back-to-back years because he was literally selling them to other teams for the money. Like,
Well, he's trying to be like Art Modell, too.
is that what it is? I think this what we've come down to as a collection is if anybody has a rebuttal and thinks that they can outdo us on this, Cleveland has the worst set of sports owners of all time. Now, we have one of the all-time greats in Paul Brown. Hard to be hating on Paul Brown. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
other than that, it don't look real great for the people that have owned these teams. Your boy Jacobs, I'll put him up there. I mean, he's cool.
He, right now, I mean, obviously my era, I mean, most people would say Bill Veeck. Most people don't know who Bill fucking Veeck is.
Right.
But back in I'm going to say the 40s. I'm pretty sure it was the 40s.
Yeah.
He was the owner, got a championship, but people love that guy.
Yeah. I mean, then we got but even right now, who's the Cavs coach? Dan Gilbert. Everybody loves that guy.
Owner.
I mean, the owner, but people love that guy for sure.
I like Dan Gilbert because, well,
He spends that money.
he spends the money.
He don't give a shit about being a luxury tax.
The thing about Dan Gilbert was, and most people don't know this, maybe you do, back in the wave one of LeBron, young LeBron was a fucking dick. He probably hasn't changed much. But a lot of players didn't want to come play with fucking dick LeBron. They didn't. They didn't want to be number 2 to LeBron.
Sure.
And they knew it was LeBron's town. They knew whatever you want to call him, baby LeBron, crybaby LeBron, or King James was going to get his way. And I don't know. I mean, I heard that's why we couldn't never get players other than Mo Williams and guys like that. The first wave.
I don't know. You had Shaq in there at one point, didn't you?
Was that the first wave?
I believe it was.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it was before he took his talents to South Beach.
nobody says Shaq was smart.
I love Shaq,
I love Shaq too.
and I think Shaq's a genius. That guy's got it all figured out.
You know he's DJing right now.
Yeah, dude. That guy is a world phenom. He's one of those people that could go anywhere in the world and everybody would know exactly who Shaquille O'Neal is when he walks in a room.
He commands everything too.
Yeah.
He is a genius. You ever watch the Hot Wings, Hot Ones?
Oh, I saw the one where
Challenge?
where he ate a bunch of shit.
Well,
It was like one and then like he was done, right?
he ate a few, but he wouldn't eat the last one. And then he made the host. I've never seen anybody. I've watched half a dozen of these or more, and they usually the host will eat them with the guest, and there's usually a famous star.
Yeah.
And then they'll eat the last one, and he's interviewing them, and they can hardly even think because their fucking face is burning off.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but he's doing it right along with them, but he's just more used to it because he does the show once a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably practices at home too. But anywho, Shaq gets at the end, won't eat the last one. Then he pulls that wing and he puts all the sauces on it and makes the guy eat it. And the guy ate the whole fucking thing.
I bet he did.
And he about choked to death. But it's
Sounds
just funny
terrible.
how all of a sudden you see Shaq, he's in charge.
Right.
He is fucking goddamn in charge, and it's fucking funny.
Gets it from his dad, military.
Yeah.
Anything else on Paul Dolan?
Let's see. So yeah, Zach Plesac was in that party with Clevenger. So, I mean, how do you not trade or get rid of a Zach Plesac if you're getting rid of Clevenger?
You don't know what the conversations were behind closed doors.
True.
You get what they give you in public. I feel like that happens a lot to where we can sit here and get upset about the fact that Clevenger's no longer an Indian. Who knows what he said? I mean, if he was kind of a dickhead about the whole thing, then we don't need you.
Well, I think it was more about the money. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Because when they came back, I watched Indians game, the day after.
Yeah.
And the people or the guys on the air were talking about, well, we kind of seen this coming, and it was about the dollars.
Yeah. It's all about that money.
So yeah, I just don't have any faith in him. I think the Trevor Bauer was probably the worst dealings.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to be able to deal with an attitude once in a while.
Sure.
That's it. You have anything else on shitty owners?
No, that's about all I had. Just talking about the local guys and how bad they've sucked over the years.
Yeah. All right. So, overworked and underpaid. How many times have you heard that statement?
A million.
A million. Probably by one guy about at least 100,000 times.
I ain't got a dime in it.
Attention bosses and business owners. This kind of goes into maybe Paul Dolan land. I mean, it is. He's a owner of a team, and if you want good fucking workers, sometimes you gotta pay them.
You got to pony up the loot.
Now, my experience, and it always hasn't been a good one, is because where I come from, early on there was an apprenticeship program, and that was a little bit tough because you could be doing the same job as a guy that is 3 years ahead of you, but you're doing the same work, but because you're in an apprenticeship, you have to wait till you're getting his money.
Sure.
You got to wait maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
Year and a half. Whatever they decide it should be.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to swallow, but at least there's something to look forward to for those 3 years in a row.
Yes, there is.
You get a little bit of the pie. And so even though that strategy to me is kind of shitty, at the same time, it's incentive, I think. I don't know if you agree or not.
Oh, I agree. Like when you're looking forward to getting those pay raises.
I mean, you've been through those type of apprenticeships.
Yes, and when you get down to the last one, it's amazing. You're like, yeah, topped out. What's
Topped
up?
out. Then you're good for about, what, 3 years, 4 years? And then you're thinking, then you might be thinking, man, I'm starting to do more. When is that? Where do I go now? And then maybe you move into another position.
And
then,
that's what I've always done.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only way you can really do it is move up to another position. Then you get your, and then
max it out and move it on.
Max it out and move it on. I just think companies really need to pay attention to people that work their asses off daily. Really need to pay attention because I think it can be overlooked, especially in today's world. I just think some of that can be overlooked. A lot of us don't even see each other on a daily basis. But you got to know, and I'm sure the bosses have a good pulse on what's getting done, what's not getting done, who's doing what, who's not doing what.
Right.
I mean, it's not that hard to figure out.
Sure.
Especially like in my world, we have a ticketing system. So if you're not getting your work done, your fucking shit ain't getting done. So I just think that there are positions in some occupations that don't necessarily have an apprenticeship scale.
True.
And at what point would you require that raise? What point should you expect? Should you ask? Asking a boss for a raise is probably the most difficult thing in the world. Even though if you're a good worker, it should be the easiest thing because you have your arsenal of this. I mean, I've been busting my ass for you.
Yeah.
I mean, can we bump it up a little bit?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, what's your experience with that?
I mean, I think that we've all felt the same way. I mean, like you mentioned, even through the apprenticeship programs, I remember making several dollars less an hour than other people, and like I was working circles around them.
Right.
You know. But then I also, as I get older, I have a respect for the process. You know, I mean, there are certain things. I mean, just because you get used to doing a particular job day in, day out, doesn't mean that there isn't going to come a day, especially early in your career, where something comes up that you don't know.
Right.
To where you have to ask a question, go figure something out. That's time and money for your company that it takes you to stop, figure out what's going on versus when you've been doing it for, like you said, 3-4 years. You know all the tricks of the trade, everything going in and out. When this breaks, I know how to do this. When that breaks, I know how to do that. I definitely think there's something to that. I mean, I do think that one of the things that we've really gotten into in this realm that's becoming a problem is that everybody can make the same amount of money. And I have a real problem with that because not everybody comes in and does the same job. You can have two people on the exact same job. One guy comes in, works his 40, doesn't miss a day of work, but he runs life about 70%, you know, where you have another guy that comes in, he's constantly trying to run the machine as fast as possible while putting quality parts out. He joins other teams inside the company trying to improve different things to where their level of involvement is different and how they handle things to where I do think that there's got to be some recognition of your actual talent and then make an effort to retain your talent. And,
Sure.
I feel like that's one of the things that some companies don't do well at this point in time.
Yeah. Also, promotions and things like that. I mean, you got to be real careful, too, because if you've got, somebody moves out, somebody moves up and out, or they leave the company and you've got this vacancy.
Yeah.
And maybe you've got qualified people to fill that vacancy.
Sure.
You got to be real careful because seniority doesn't always mean everything, but at times it should a little bit, I think. I mean, I don't know what you think about that.
Seniority, only if there is literally a tie. I mean, I have always been one that has felt like this. The paycheck that I cashed last week was from the work that I did the week before. This week's paycheck is going to be from what I just did. You know what I mean? To where once you've done that, that's out the door. To where your seniority, if I've been on the same job for 12 years that you've been on for 18, you deserve a lot more than me. You're going to get your extra time of vacation like you should because that's dedication to the company. But when it comes down to the actual job that you've done and when it comes to promotions and stuff like that, absolutely not. I feel like the best person for the job is the decision that the company should make. You should never get a job based on seniority. I mean, that's
for sure.
That's one of those things that has not worked. I mean, you look at a lot of union shops where they have those rules, you have the most seniority, you can bid on this job when another person can't.
No,
you don't always get the same.
What I'm talking is more like this. Like you've got a guy has a lengthy tenure, a lot of experience, and you're bringing somebody in,
right,
that is going to have to is starting on the ground floor.
Yeah,
I mean those two comparisons, it's kind of hard, wouldn't you say, to fill a vacancy with the guy with no experience and no tenure.
Are you talking about like say that there's an internal promotion?
Yes.
And two people are going after it.
Or it's maybe there is no promotion. It's up to the people in control they're just doing it.
I mean, in a situation like that, if you're the 10-year guy and if you're not clearly more qualified than the other guy, you have a problem out of the gate to start with.
Yeah.
If I've been doing something for 10 years
Yeah.
and I'm not better than you going in, especially like knowing all my shit with the company, how it works, different things, you know what I mean? It's on you. I mean, I really think that most people don't agree, but especially in a climate like this, you create your own position. If you become undeniable, they will stop denying you. I mean, if literally you can say at the end of the day, like, I am the best you have. You really cannot compare anybody to me, right?
Right.
And if there are, we're all 100%. You know what I mean? To where there's something to be said for being, I mean, one of the things that I always implore, becoming the go-to guy. Hey, do you know how to do this? No. But I'll figure it out.
Right.
Hey, so-and-so called off. Can you stay? Yes, I can. Like, you have to become part of the fabric of the company if you want to be treated like you're part of the fabric of the company.
Sure.
You can't just expect something because you put your name out there.
Oh, no, for sure.
If I had $1 for every person I've seen through the way our internal processes work that's pissed off that they didn't get a job. But then if you sit there, literally, pen to paper, and you're like, pros and cons for this person, pros and cons for the person that got it. You put it on paper and you're like, this wasn't close. Like, it wasn't like somebody just doesn't like you. And that's how people always take it, because they can never self-reflect and say, maybe I should have been better. Maybe starting today, if I want it next time, I should start being better. No, they play the other role to where they're the victim, and then they just suck for forever.
Now I'm talking about that. I mean,
I'm saying a lot of people do.
I'm talking about something completely different, where management just makes a decision.
Yeah.
Not necessarily based on experience or role or prior role.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, I think this is going to be a good fit, and they do it without kind of consulting anybody and just like getting any feedback. And then you're kind of like, that probably is going to work out in the long run.
Right.
But I don't know how guy A feels about that, because he's been doing a pretty fucking good job over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I get it. I don't know. I
think
it's a case-to-case basis. I mean, that's one of the things that we love to talk about on some shows, and it's just it's a case-to-case.
I'm sure there could be some animosity in that situation, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people being pissed off. No, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
nothing like that. Just toss it out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I completely get it.
What do you got? You got something for me?
I got a couple little things here. You know how like you hear people say things, and like you can even hear everybody say the same thing for forever, but you almost feel like, doesn't pertain to me. I was coming down it's not an interstate highway, but it was 2 lanes on each side. Like, you get like almost like the in-town highways in bigger cities.
Yeah.
And truck in front of me slows down. It's going to turn left as a semi. And so I start slowing down to get in the right-hand lane to get around him. Just standard. I mean, using my turn signal like I'm supposed to.
SOP.
And all of a sudden I see a car from the front head on this thing. I mean, absolutely drills it into what would be like the right front corner of it. I mean, absolutely.
The semi.
The semi was just sitting there. Thank God for that person that the semi wasn't moving, or they'd have been dead. So literally, the car bounces off. The tire is pushed all the way up in.
What did he hit? The semi?
A car.
Oh.
Hits it. So a semi sitting here getting ready to turn, right?
Yeah.
So it's sitting here. A car coming this way, boom, right onto the front left corner. I'm talking hit it solid to where it like bounces off and comes like rolling toward me. So I'm like, well, okay. So I start pulling off like, I'm going to get out and have to see what's going on. I mean, there's a few other cars around, but you can't leave a situation like that. You know what I mean? So I turn and take off my seatbelt, and I'm getting ready to start getting out of the car, and I see a guy come running beside me. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hang back for 10 seconds here and see what happens, not interject myself or something too big. He opens the door, and it's not funny. No, I'm sorry for laughing. He opens the door, he goes, are you all right? I could see then at this point in time, it's like a 16, 17-year-old girl. I think she says yes. And he goes, you were on your damn phone, weren't you? And I didn't hear anything. He goes, you're going to lose your fucking license for this. Well, at this point, I'm assuming Dad's screaming at her. She's probably okay, even though her car is absolutely completely totaled. I mean, just...
Was that her dad?
Yeah, I'm 90% sure that was her dad. But could you imagine that moment as a parent? Your child is following you. In the rear view mirror, you see them completely, boom, right into a freaking truck. So I'm sure that guy was scared shitless. So once I saw that, I'm like, okay, this guy has this under control. I'm not going to be part of this. But then I was
Audi 500.
But then I was slowly thinking, it's like, you know what? I try to be somebody that's not on my phone a lot while I'm driving, but guilty. I've done it. You know what I mean? Especially like if there's a bunch of shit going on. There's times that it's like one of those rededication things. It's like you hear about it. Don't be on your phone. It's dangerous. Don't be on your phone. It's dangerous. X amount of number of deaths last year because people were on their phones and blah, blah, blah. It's like, got to get back to that, to where when I'm driving, there ain't nothing more important than me driving at that point in time.
Yeah.
Everything else will wait, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like sometimes you got to let the things slide and things got to wait, to make sure that you take care of number one. So
my number one, sometimes I won't even take a call in the car.
A call, if I'm in heavy traffic, like that's one thing. But if I'm just out like interstate driving, I don't give a shit. That don't bother me.
If I had $1 for every time I said, that's what voicemail was invented for. I mean, it's the truth.
It is, but at the same time,
well, it's different with you, but
you'll talk when you're driving in the car with the wife. Do you sit there and talk to her?
I try not to.
Shut up. Exactly. Is it any different?
Yeah, a lot different.
Really? Pray tell.
I mean, I've driven by off ramps before because I've been on the phone.
You never driven off? Well, you haven't been driven on an off ramp with Mrs. R because she wouldn't let you. What are you doing, Adam? You gotta get over.
No, she would wait till I'm fucking past it.
I'm just kidding, Mrs. R.
Yeah. What are you doing, motherfucker?
So, yeah, that's all I got of that. It's one of those things where to me it was a little bit of a wake up call that I wanted to share. Like, hey,
no, you got to. You got to stop doing it. Everybody's got to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it doesn't matter if it's your phone or you're digging for fucking change in the console. It's all fucking dangerous. Today, leaving work, I was digging in some change for this bad boy. I figured I had a whole bunch of quarters and stuff. I'm going to give him some silver because a lot of places are hurting for silver.
Sure.
Plus, I had the silver.
Yeah.
So I'm digging and I look up and I'm just going off the road a little bit. And it's right on State Street right there.
Yeah.
And this looks like the Grand Canyon. And I'm like, whoa! And right there. And that wasn't even on my phone. I was reaching for some change. So yes, keep your eyes on the fucking road.
Yeah.
I agree. I could have easily waited till I was in line at the brew-through to get my change. But no, I had to do it then. No, see, it's a bad idea.
Yeah. Little things like that. Just pay attention when you're driving.
Yeah.
I
can remember being a punk, looking at the radio, even just something simple.
Right.
And going left of center.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus, this is so stupid.
But one of the things I thought about was, once it's established that everybody's okay, I felt bad really for the driver of the semi. It's a Friday afternoon. This guy's trying to make his deliveries and get done for the day. And now his entire day going into a 3-day weekend is fucked. Like, that sucks because somebody else wasn't fucking paying attention.
I feel bad for those guys too because one, was that even his truck? If it was, now it's got to be repaired. You know, some of those drivers have company trucks.
Yeah, but some of them have their one truck, and that's what they drive around.
And if that was his one truck, now he's out of business for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
If it's bad.
Sure.
So yeah, that's no good. Stay off your goddamn phones.
Just another reason, right? You want to go next or you want me to go next?
I want this. Mine's last.
Well, I'll fire off one more then. So we try to avoid too much COVID on the show. But
we had a lot, but not much anymore.
No. So this is just a question. As numbers start to come down, you know, things are starting to change.
Are they?
They are.
I haven't watched any news for 2 months.
Yeah, numbers are starting to dwindle. So I shouldn't say dwindle, but they're definitely lower than what they have been, and they continue to drop. There's a few places that are turning into hot spots again. They keep getting these little waves, but on a whole, numbers are starting to come down, right? So my question is, what types of things, gathering-wise, are you doing or not doing? Like, are you doing birthday parties right now?
My son's is September 26th. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Like, are we going to them? No. Now, my son was invited to one. We actually forgot, and he didn't get to go. But he was going to go.
Okay.
So, yes and no.
Yeah. So, okay, so what about an adult birthday party? Would you go to an adult birthday party right now?
I think that, for me, that would be better because we're adults.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there would be some masks, probably worn by half of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not, but I think some people would at least have them in their pocket because just in case. Would they all wear them? I don't know. But I think that as adults, you could be a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say, like, what are you talking, like 100 people or like 10?
Let's say 40.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
25.
Probably.
Okay. Would you go, okay, like this is kickoff Sunday coming up here. If you had a $100 gift card to go to the Galaxy where you know they have all the games on, people to send on there, would you go to the Galaxy with your social distance seating arrangement to go watch the Browns?
I think I'd save that gift card for like week 3.
Yeah? Save it for a little while and hope the herd thins a little bit?
Yeah, I don't have this phobia of people. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I wash my hands.
Sure.
I wear my mask when I can. I try to do the right thing. Doesn't mean it's always going to work.
Yeah.
I could accidentally rub my eye, whatever.
Right.
Who knows?
I feel like, well, the reason I brought this up is I think that these are the types of things that people are starting to encounter. You know, as, you know, figure out whatever your mask restrictions are and stuff like that. People are starting to go to more things.
I think so.
As it moves on here. So I was just curious where your line was on the whole thing.
I'm going to tell you what, overall, other than sports and wearing the masks, okay, so I guess it's about 3 things. The masks, the sports, and the work routine, not much has changed.
I mean, right. I don't completely disagree. I mean, there's people that we haven't got to see in the family and some stuff like that are still kind of doing, you know, a little bit more aggressive about the whole thing than we are, you know. But on a whole, I agree. I miss sports.
I mean, that is a lot of stuff. I mean, the masks, the sports, the work routine.
Right.
It's all changed.
Right.
So that is a difference.
Sure.
But if you take those away,
then what?
Not a whole lot has changed.
Don't disagree. All right. That's all I had on that little part. Just a little thing.
Okay.
What do you got?
So we're winding down the show here.
Okay.
Some NFL football. It's starting. It will have started after the show had aired.
Yes.
So today is a Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. Oh, it starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Boom. We got a blowout. Jake says we're gonna. Well, who's the teams?
It's Kansas City and Houston.
Houston. We have a problem. You're going to get blown out.
I think it's going to be
Don't they have a pretty good quarterback over there in Houston?
I think it's going to be like 31-13, something like that.
Who's the quarterback in Houston?
Deshaun Watson. Yeah. He was up 21-0 though last year in the playoffs against the same team and got trounced. Yeah.
Don't piss off my homie.
No, that was his coming out party. So that's what I think for opening night.
So let's talk about NFL a little bit.
Let's do it.
Do you think that we'll keep the COVID talk going? Do you think there's going to be, like, the MLB has had some breakouts where the COVID breakouts where the teams have had to postpone their games. Obviously, I mean, as a fan, I hope none of that happens in the NFL. I'm really hoping, because the less that would happen, the more back to normal we're going to get.
Sure.
So, do you think that's going to happen? Do you think it's? I mean, it's obviously possible. Anything's possible.
If so, it's nice the NFL actually has some precautions in place for it.
What do we have?
So if they get what they consider to be like a major outbreak going on through the league, they actually already have all of the schedules with everything in place to where they will shut the league down for 2 weeks.
Really?
Yep. I mean, they talked about it the other day to where it was like, at least we have a plan for that kind of stuff.
So they'll just shut the whole league down for 2 weeks,
and then pick right back up with
forfeit
whatever.
those games.
No.
Extend them.
The only way that they would forfeit would be if they had to do it twice, and then they would end up having just no game for whatever particular weeks those were, to where it would lower it down to like a 14-game season instead of the 16-game season.
Hit them like a blackjack pine.
Yeah. So I don't think that it's going to end up being there's going to be a team someplace
Now
that has so many kids. But I mean, so far, the college football programs have done a pretty good job of avoiding it.
Well,
and they've been playing for a couple weeks now.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Because I have zero pulse on this. I just know it's happening. The NBA went into the bubble.
Nibba.
That's worked out pretty good, right?
Yeah.
The bubble?
Yeah.
Do you think at some point early, the NFL is just going to adopt that right away?
No chance.
No chance. Why is that?
Your NBA teams, between coaches
About
players,
20 guys?
it's less than 30 for the entire staff.
Yeah.
You have 53 active players on an NFL roster. That's not ball boys, coaches, all of the other things that go into it. The numbers are too staggering. What it would take to actually take that number of people and quarantine them. Here's the other thing too, is the NBA has done it with just the playoff teams and only in a bubble that's for them in that area. Could you imagine whatever this complex would have to be to house, feed, care for? I mean,
It's called the Hilton.
but I'm just saying, let's say that they capped each team at 100. That's 3,200 people.
No, I get it, but do you also hear what you're saying here? That's a lot of fucking people to keep clean.
What do you mean to keep clean?
COVID clean.
Yeah, but the teams themselves have a ton of restrictions when it comes to the way that they handle things.
I know, but all those players are, when they're not traveling, going back to home. Some kids aren't homeschooled now. I drove by Barberton schools today. They're all walking home.
Dude, I get it. The chain of interaction that you can have if you really want to trace it, it's insane. How many people on a weekly basis you're in contact with because you're in contact with the people that they're in contact and so on and so forth. The number's astronomical.
Okay, so if you can't keep the players in a bubble, which I understand there's a lot of them and coaches, can you at least keep them from team to home bubble? I mean, I think that's feasible.
For what now?
Precautions.
Like you're expecting them to stay home in their house?
Listen, you go from the practice field or the game day field, you go home. I'm sorry, you're at home.
I don't think so. You look at how many companies right now have hundreds of people that are working for them that are going to work every single day.
I know, but it's a different thing.
Is it? I don't feel like it's that different.
I mean, if AR goes down for 2 weeks, my company's going to survive.
We're going to be sad.
If Chubb goes down for 2 weeks, the owner's going to be sad. Well, maybe not now. They've got a who is it?
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
He's good, man.
Hey, I love Kareem Hunt.
Me too.
He's
Local.
He's a local boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good times.
Personally,
Yeah.
with this coach the Browns have,
Stefanski.
he claims to be a running back type of coach. Like, let's run the ball.
Dalvin Cook did really well for him last year in Minnesota.
And he pulled in a fullback.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, you have two stud running backs.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just, as they always say, if you can establish the run, which they fucking better be able to.
Your offensive line's a lot better. Good things coming.
If you can establish that run, baby, old 13 and number 80 will be wide open.
That is what the plan is.
And did you hear Njoku wanted out?
Yeah. Well,
He wanted out?
because there's a lot of tight ends there right now.
They got like 3 tight ends. He's one of them, and he's like, "Fuck you guys, fuck you, Jobu." And then they said, "Come here,
Right.
here. Listen, You're the fucking track star tight end. When we need you to break one like Josh Gordon, you can. Just fucking catch the ball. I think they brought him in and said, we have a big plan for you.
I agree. They got a good chance.
I know for sure we have a blocking tight end. I know we have one of those goofy run the ball or run up, turn around after 10 yards type tight ends.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Njoku tight end. I mean, I think, Jesus Christ.
They're well-rounded. So let me ask you this. Who are you picking to be in the Super Bowl?
Well,
AFC, NFC?
Kansas City's in the AFC?
Yeah.
That's tough. Most people, like Jake here, would say it's going to be a battle between Baltimore and Kansas City, right?
To get in?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the AFC Championship.
Okay.
Barring something crazy happen. That's another team that I have in my mind, though, but go ahead.
Because of the Browns coach, I'm not going to say Super Bowl because I will never say Browns Super Bowl to anybody.
Sure.
But I'm going to say, how many rounds of the playoffs are there?
There's wild card, divisional, conference championship, Super Bowl.
So 4 rounds. Well, really 3. And then we have the championship.
Yeah.
3 rounds and then the championship.
Yeah.
I think they could make it. They're definitely going to make it past. I think they're going to make it in and past round 1. Really hoping they get to that AFC championship. Now, obviously, they got to run through Baltimore for that, but
One of them,
right. Now, do I think the Browns have enough talent this year? For me, absolutely do. But it all revolves around Baker Mayfield. Will he have another year like his rookie year, or will he have another sophomore year? If he has a freaky freak moment like he did in his Frost year, they're gonna do fine.
So you're picking the Brown. Who's going to the Super Bowl?
That I don't know.
We'll we're just making a prediction for the fun of the show.
Well, I can't. I know Baltimore's really good.
Yeah,
but
they're really good.
They are really good. But I think when you have that type of a year that they did, it's a lot of running, and it's a lot of containing that QB. I know he has a little bit of options. Those type of quarterbacks are hard to fucking deal with. I know that. I'm not.
He's a lot.
I'm not an idiot.
Especially in these couple years. In his 22 to 25 years.
Yeah,
he's a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But when you've seen that and you've prepared for him and you have a game plan, it can be beatable. The Browns kicked their ass the very first game they played them last year.
I saw it.
They beat them badly.
Weren't they winning at halftime at the second game too?
Maybe.
And then they blew it in the third quarter.
I mean, Baltimore is good enough that they're going to be able to overcome that kind of thing occasionally, or more than occasionally.
Yeah.
I think if you have a game plan and you stick with it and it's effective, which I really think the Stefanski, the guy has impressed me so far. We'll see.
So are you taking Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl?
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
If I had to choose, I don't think the Browns are going to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I'm going to say a repeat for the AFC.
KC. You're taking KFC, huh?
KFC. I'm drinking KFC Kool-Aid.
I'm actually going with an outlier that a lot of people are picking them to win the division, but I think that they're going to be an absolute monster to deal with in the playoffs.
Okay, who's that? Oh, no. TB?
No.
Oh, good.
I'm just talking AFC first, then NFC.
Oh. Tampa Bay's in the NFC?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. They have a lot of veteran guys that are really, really good. They have easily one or two, might be the best offensive line in football. They have invested a bunch of money in their defense. They already have one of the best linebackers in football. Their DBs are all really, really good. They have a lot of good skill players. I mean, they've got like 3 running backs now at this point, like kind of you were talking about, and they've got the heartstring story at quarterback, man. Old Phillip Rivers, 40 years old, coming in, leaving the Chargers behind for the first time, coming in to man the young kids.
Phillip Rivers went to the Colts?
He is their starter.
There's so much that I don't know.
Yeah. This guy's already had a Hall of Fame career, and now he's making the run one time. I feel like this team is a team that will play desperate.
So you think
they play physical? Like,
how ironic. It's kind of like the Peyton Manning in reverse.
It is. Instead of going to get another one, he's going to get one.
Well, but this guy's going to the Colts to get one.
Correct. So I'm definitely taking.
I like the Colts. If I had to pick a second team to root for, I'd always root for the Colts for some reason.
Yeah.
It was my team when the Browns were N.A.
Non-existent.
I can remember a guy at work selling banners of the teams.
Really?
Like you could get a banner for like $10. It was
Yeah.
a full-size fucking 8-foot banner, and I bought the Colts.
It's a good time.
I was like, fuck it. I got to root for somebody.
It's hard to go wrong with the Colts, to be honest.
Well, it was Manning. I liked Manning
Yeah,
back
but
then.
nobody really hated Peyton Manning back then.
Did they hate him now?
I mean, I don't know. I'm tired of seeing him on fucking commercials. I'll tell you that.
I like Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning's
I think he
commercials
makes
are
the
annoying.
stupidest funny commercials ever.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying they're annoying. NFC, I'm sticking. It's kind of like what you did. I got to go with the Niners again. That team is loaded.
Still?
The Niners, dude, that defense, filthy.
Did they upgrade or they just keep everybody?
Dude, they kept that front four.
Yeah, but the whole team was playing like they were on fucking steroids.
But they all
Somebody
are.
needs to invest in that
Well.
or investigate that because, I mean, it looked ridiculous. When you watched them play some teams,
Just
it was
smoking them.
It was like they were in the backfield in annihilation.
Yeah. Now, if they don't go, and who I think they will honestly play in the NFC Championship game, a little bit of throwback action, I think it's going to be the Cowboys. And I want to see the Colts and the Cowboys.
Dak is back.
Right?
Really?
Yeah. Dak is good. And Dak is loaded. Loaded. The best wide receiver core in the NFL. A top 3 or 4.
Who's their wideouts?
They got Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb.
Browns are better than that.
Okay. We'll see. I'm just saying.
We will see. You know what? I'm changing mine. Browns is the Super Bowl.
All right. No,
Browns versus. Wait, maybe I've never said this before. Maybe they'll actually listen.
My
to
God.
me.
I can't wait to see who you put them against.
Browns versus. I gotta pick somebody they'll beat. Tampa Bay.
Could you imagine if Baker Mayfield beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl? That's what we're talking about right now.
You know what? That's the NFL's dream Super Bowl right there.
No, it's not. They want Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes to play Tom Brady in that Super Bowl. They want the young guns, the 2 MVPs that are going to carry the torch in. All right, man. I'm just telling you, that's what they want.
Cardiac Kids Part 2.
Dude, the Browns being good for football is good for football. Nobody's going to deny that. I'm just saying, if the NFL was going to sit down and hand select, they want one of those 2 guys.
They've already had their turn. Mahomes, sit down.
They want Rodgers to play against Brady in the NFC Championship game.
Let me ask you this. Would it be possible for the Browns to play the Ravens in the
AFC Championship? Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you had to win your division out. I'm saying
Cleveland gets in as a wild card. Then what happens is, let's say Baltimore wins the division. Cleveland gets in as a wild card. Depending on what seed they are, they could end up playing them in a later round.
Okay. All right.
The way they can't is if they're the first. Well, no. Regardless, they could still end up playing them. So, yeah, there's a chance.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So enjoy your NFL coming up this weekend. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully, now that it's back a little bit. Before that, don't forget that you have Notre Dame football on Saturday. I know all you Buckeyes fans are out there crying the blues.
Haven't even thought about him.
Missing your boy. Yeah. Wait till it starts coming on every weekend. And I'll say this. Most people don't quite realize, I don't think, this Ohio State team, if they do get to play in October, as they're talking about possibly restarting the Big Ten in October, this will be one of the best 10 college football teams I have ever seen assembled.
What are you saying?
This team is filthy.
You're saying Ryan Day's got a chance?
Dude, Ryan Day has got a freaking stable. Like, these guys are ridiculous.
He says, "Thank you, Uncle Urban."
But they love Day, though, down there, too. Like, that guy has been a hero since before he took over. Like, huge things. So, good luck, but you don't get to watch it for a while. So, that's all I got for tonight, man. You got anything to finish us off with?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
All right.
Goes like this. That's it, baby.
Little Ethan to finish. As always, remember, mental health. That's what we do on this show.
Big deal.
Right. You think it'll hurt yourself, somebody else. If you're struggling with any kind of substance abuse, please pick up the phone, get some help. 1-800-622-4357. Somebody on the other end of the line is there to help you.
Absolutely. If you're having bad thoughts, like Jake said, about hurting yourself, hurting somebody else, or you just can't kick that substance, call the number.
That's right. They're there for you. We're here for you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Pip, pip.
Cheerio.